Hey guys, welcome to this video on indices and index laws. So, hopefully you remember from a little bit from last year, if we've got 2 to the power of 5, that this is the same as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. What you may not know is that, in this case, 2 is called the base. And 5 is what we call the index, power, or exponent. And the reason we're defining those is because I want to talk quickly about negative bases. So if we've got, say, negative 3 to the power of 2, what does that give us? Well, there's a bit of a rule for it. If we've got a negative base and we raise it to an odd power, then the answer is going to be negative. But if we do to an even power, so let's quickly rewrite this. Then the answer will be positive. What does this look like? Well, if we've got, let's just use negative 3 as an example, negative 3 to the power of 2, well, negative 3 times negative 3 is just 9, so negative times a negative is just a positive. But if I've got negative 3 to the power of 3, which is an odd power, then let's work it out. We've got negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. So you can see it just goes back and forth between being a negative answer and a positive answer. Now, if you're going to put this in your calculator, you do need to put these brackets around there. And the reason for that is if you don't, then realistically what you're putting in your calculator, and I'm going to go up to the top here, is negative 3 to the power of 2, which your calculator is going to interpret as negative 9, because it's minus 3 to the power of 2. So putting brackets in there is something that you definitely need to do. And in fact, we'll go through an example of this in class. Alright, that's the basis of indices. Now we're going to talk about index laws. And hopefully you guys might remember these from last year. You might not, but that's alright. So, let's look at... Now, I do want you guys to get these down, so I'll go through and explain them, pause the video then, I'll tell you to pause the video and write them down. If I've got a to the power of m times a to the power of n, so the bases are the same, what this is going to be equal to is a to the power of m plus n. So, for example, if we've got 3 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of 3, it's the same as 3 to the power of 5. That's one index law. what if we have the opposite of multiply, which is divide? So a to the power of m divided by a to the power of n. Well, you may have already guessed it's just going to be the opposite. So a to the power of m take n. Again, let's use 3 to the power of 5 divided by 3 to the power of 2. This is just the same as 3 to the power of 3. Next one, if we've got a to the power of m all to the power of n, that's the same as saying a to the power of m times n. So 3 to the power of 2 to the power of 3 is just the same as 3 to the power of 6. Let's do it. Let's look at another one where if we've got a times b all to the power of n, this is the same as a to the power of n times b to the power of n. Particularly useful, this one here, if we're dealing with surds, because we can actually get rid of a surd by using this rule. Let's look at it the opposite way, where if we've got a over b to the power of n, it's exactly the same as a to the power of n over b to the power of n. And obviously in this case b cannot be equal to 0. A to the power of 0 is just equal to 1. Obviously a can't equal 0. Try it in your calculator, see what you get. I can almost guarantee you it's going to end up being cracking it at you and say, it can't do it. And the final one, if I've got a to the power of minus n, so we're raising it to a negative power, this is the same as a as 1 over a to the power of n. Something that you definitely need to... This rule comes up time and time again, especially next year in Year 12 Mathematical Methods and Specialist. Now, what if I have 1 over a to the power of minus n? Well, that's the same as a to the power of n. So it works both ways. So I can actually go from this way over to here and back. So they're interchangeable. And that's really all the index laws that we're going to look at. So I do want you guys to make sure that you get these index laws written down. There'll be a bit of a quiz on it in class. If you've got any questions, just ask. But please, please get these written down, because we're going to hit the ground running using these next lesson. Hopefully you've gotten a bit out of this video. That's it for indices and index laws. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.